Hello everyone, I think we're live now. Yeah, hi, I'm Dact. We'll continuing with the theme, the Spyro block, or Insomniac block, I guess. This is Spyro 2 for the PS1. Back away from the remakes for a bit, back to the OG. It's been a while since I've run this game in any marathon. When ASM first started back in like 2015-16, I ran this category like 3 marathons in a row, and then I dropped the game for 4.5 years, so it's been a while.
Those 3 marathon runs all went really well as well.
The first one was horrible, and then actually they mostly were pretty bad. So hopefully can get a bit closer to PB this time. But yeah, with me I've got Paso, you just heard, and Marta, who ran the Vortex run earlier as well. So thanks guys for sticking around.
Sure.
And yeah, I guess we'll get started with this straight away. This game is very different from how it was a few years ago, so we'll... which color won, by the way? It's still green, right?
I think it's still green.
Yeah, it's still green.
Yeah.
I'll just close that up for you.
What I'm gonna do, just so that we don't... I'm gonna start the game and then pause and do the color cheat, and then we'll start the timer when I unpause, because we usually start on first movement anyway.
Yeah,
So
cool. Just
I'll
count
start...
me down.
Yeah, I'll start the game now, and then I'll do that. So thanks everyone for donating for the bid war. Green is definitely the meme choice, but
Yeah.
It's the correct choice.
Anything else would be wrong.
Alright. Let me do this cheat code.
The green makes you environmentally friendly, right?
Like that. Yeah, there we go.
There he is. Wow, look
Yeah.
how he's blending in
Yeah,
with the
he
grass
really
so
is
much.
blending in with the grass.
It's crazy.
Alright. Alright, I'll start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck with the run.
Thank you.
Good luck, man. Cool. So this is Glimmer, and Jack's going to start off. Glimmer is one of the hardest levels in the game, in my opinion.
It really is, yeah, agreed.
It's very rare that you'll have a speedrun that has one of the hardest levels, like literally right as you enter. But yeah, Glimmer is incredibly technical.
People get put off from learning this game because they do Glimmer and they're like, whoa, is the whole thing this hard?
Is the whole hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's really not. Hopefully I can get a cool thing here that... Nice, okay. You can like Spyro off that guy. I haven't talked about any movement techniques yet, but just going straight into it.
Yeah, with that one where, as Dak mentioned, we call it a Spider-Man, as a play on words of Spider-Man, where there's a mechanic in this game called double jump, and it sort of utilizes that mechanic along with stuff that can be done in Spyro 3 as well. But because of the double jump mechanic, the what you can get out of it is much more pronounced than in any other game. And double jump is something that's in this game where it's an error or a bug essentially that allows you to essentially get a whole bunch more height than you're meant to. So that's one there, and that basically breaks the whole game open, where everything that they put just slightly out of reach is not slightly out of reach when you can double jump. So
yeah, it's done by you just press X and then you press square without holding a direction. So if you can probably try it if you've got the game. If you like press and hold X and then press and hold square without pressing the directional button, you'll see Spyro's head sort of charge up and you'll get a little bit of extra height. If you do that optimally, you can get quite a lot of height. And like Paso said, you can get out of bounds and make a lot of unintended jumps, and it's used very liberally. So.
Yeah, and all of the routes are sort of built around that. So this level in particular, there is a quest that we're doing where we're running around essentially from the end of the level all the way back to the start of the level. And so instead of going through the level, getting to the end and then going all the way back, we use double jump to go out of bounds and go straight to the end, start that quest, and then clear the level out in one pass going backwards.
Yeah, that's a very common theme, especially when things like mystery jars come into play, because most of them, when you see the first instance of a mystery jar, it's they usually start at the end of the level, and then you have to follow it all the way back through to the start of the level. So, yeah, most of the time it's quicker to get as quickly as you can to the end of the level and then work backwards. So.
And then
that's
something else to note, the lamps challenges, you're supposed to use the Superfly power-up to fly around and hit the lamps. I've just been doing flame charge jumps and flame double jumps to hit them from the floor.
Yep.
The ones inside the cave are on a very tight cycle, so if I'd made some kind of a movement mistake or something, I would have had to like either skip stuff or start the challenge again. But yeah, that was actually a really, really good glimmer.
Yeah,
I
really,
wouldn't be
really
surprised
well
if that was like 302 or something. That was very, very good.
Yeah, I say like pretty much anything sort of sub 310 that's a really, really good glimmer. So Nay has just asked, wait, why is Spyro green? It's because it's the way he was intended to be. You know, he wasn't supposed to be purple. The developers wanted to make him green, but as you can see, he's blending in with the grass, so they had to change him back to purple, but we've restored his rightful color as green.
Alright, so now we're done with the first level. We won't be seeing any other like full levels for maybe 10 minutes or so. Maybe longer than that, actually. The way the route works in this game, I guess the way progression in general works in this game is you start off with basically the same moveset you had in Spyro 1. Just like jump, flame, glide. But you get abilities as you progress through the game. You learn to swim, which I just did there. You learn to climb ladders, you get head bash, and then there's a couple of like late game hidden things as well. But because the game is so broken, as you're going to see right now, you can kind of just skip everything and make a beeline right to the end of the game and get all the abilities like as early as possible.
Yeah, so what he's done there is he's actually got Spyro inside the door frame, and then he's flamed the button and gotten stuck inside the door frame, which allows him then, again, using the double jump mechanic to jump out of bounds and just enters the first boss Crush's portal, so he can go straight to Autumn Plains, and he'll be doing a similar thing in the second homeworld as well, although a little bit trickier.
Oh, that didn't bring him off the button, did it?
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, rip.
So what Dact was going for there is the way this boss works is he will typically, you'll damage him and he'll move around to a different platform, like you can see there. If you take damage, he will start moving off of the platform, and you can then hit him immediately after he moves off of it, and he'll go straight back to the same one as we've just seen there. And so this fight is optimized by keeping him locked onto the same one and just moving him slightly back out so that you can just do the whole fight with him here like he is now.
Yeah, if you're not careful, like if you're bad at recovering, Dact was able to recover that really well. If you're bad at doing that like I am, the second it goes even slightly wrong, it's like, you're losing so much time. So
if he's on a red one and you want him to move, it's kind of annoying because you have to like double jump over the big fireball, and it's pretty tight. But yeah, we're out of the first homeworld, skipping almost everything. We'll be doing skipping even. Yeah, 100% by the way. We'll be skipping even more in this homeworld.
Won't be doing a single level here. Just collecting a few gems, an orb or two, and then skipping into the second boss.
Yeah, this series of jumps skips buying the climb power up. You use this in every category. It's very, very useful. And then we can go over and get some stuff.
So yeah, clearing these out is just about, this is the most convenient time to do it. There are different reasons, or there's different stuff that we get that makes collecting gems and doing a lot of that and collecting baskets and all of that as well a lot faster. But because we need to be up this way anyway, it doesn't make sense to leave anything until we've got those things that do improve stuff slightly. So we end up getting it all now. And so this one here, specifically, there's just no real other time you would get this. And so we do that long glide, clear this out, and then we're going to go to one of the biggest tricks in this game. So normally here there's a breakable wall, which we got up to the rooftop of this castle without having to break it. That allows you to do some really cool stuff where you can get yourself inside the wall, like Dak just did there, and then once you're inside the wall, you can just use the game's mechanics to essentially clip out and then skip into gulp in the same way that we skipped into crush just a few minutes ago.
I got very lucky there. I did an extra tap after the camera started moving, and it just insta-clipped me. Normally, I'd just get pushed out, but I got very lucky there.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things you have to be wary if you're learning the trick. We won't go into detail, but there's certain camera things you need to keep an eye on, and like sort of how Spyro reacts when you're trying to clip into that wall. Otherwise, it'll just pop you out. So it's very tricky for new runners to learn, but it's once you sort of understand the trick, it's not too bad.
Yeah. I should point out this first like 15 minutes of the run is the reset hell. Like most of your failed runs will be in the first 15 minutes. Just because this is where all the skips are, all the big stuff. Once you get past that, it's just go through the rest of the game and collect everything with like fully powered up Spyro, and it's really fun.
The actual
speed to get out of the, the first bit first. No, I got the.
Yep.
I got the vibration as if I'd hit the barrel, but it didn't move. I think that's like last frame or something.
Yeah, it might have even been one of those ones where if gulp comes back down at a certain point, even if something's heading towards him, it'll just decide that it's going to throw it up in the air.
Yeah. But yeah, the idea is to get double hits here.
Yeah, exactly. So this boss fight, normally you would damage him once, they would go to the next phase, you damage him again, they'd go to the next phase of dropping eggs. But each phase, unless you get incredibly unlucky and end up getting 3 bombs on the screen at the same time, it's always possible to get double hits. It's just sometimes it's much harder than other times. This is essentially a completely RNG dependent fight.
Yeah.
You can influence a lot with skill, but it still comes down to RNG.
Yeah, like being good at the fight makes your average gulps a lot faster, but like sometimes shit like that happens and there's just nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Swear jar.
Does that even count? If it's a word I can say in front of my parents, I don't think I'm going to swear jar for it.
I can say the F word in front of my parents. It's fine.
I can't. Anyway, yeah, that's Sculpt.
You can get, if you get really, 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 really lucky, you can make that as quick as anywhere as a 4 cycle because you can get triple hits. It's just not super viable. Ideally, you're looking for about a 5 cycle.
Yeah, a lot of the time, triple hits as well, because of how awkward they can be to set up, take more time than if you just did quick doubles as well.
Yeah, I've seen like 2 4 cycles ever. They're very, very rare. Because triples are already pretty rare and you need to get 2 of them.
Yeah, it needs really, really good RNG. You need the right weapons and you need them to be positioned correctly to be able to do it.
So again, in the process of getting towards Dragon Shores to get Fireball, we're just collecting some stuff here and there along the way. And then how Spyro works with portals is that when a portal isn't loaded, so there are various reasons that might be. Dragon Shores, for example, only actually activates when you finish the game. At least that's how it's intended. But because of how the game stores portals while they're not active, it's essentially directly underneath where the portal would be, and is still active, but you need to get out of bounds to use them. Since getting out of bounds is fairly easy because of all the things we mentioned already, it's not too hard to actually enter a level that isn't activated yet. And so we do that with Dragon Shores to then go out of bounds in Dragon Shores, again using double jump to get over the wall, and then we get the permanent Fireball power-up that is intended as a you've completed the game 100%, yeah, like a special ability type thing, except we're actually 15 minutes into the run or so.
Yeah, this saves the Fireball power-up saves a lot of time over the course of the run, so it's very worth getting. Like beelining to the end of the game. Ooh, that's a shame. That looked good. Yeah, probably charged just a little too soon, but
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so now he's trying to get what's called a swim in air, so they can access the Ripto fight. So the way water works in this game is it's basically just a plane. So like the surface of the water is, there you go. So there's swim and air. So basically, as long as he passes through the surface of the water, the game will put Spyro in a swimming state. And that plane of water just extends a little bit out of bounds, which is why he goes out of bounds to be able to get it. And that allows him to sort of swim through the air and skipping the door into Ripto. So
the way the game's designed is normally if you pass through that plane of water, they put you into a closed space that you can't get out of, is how they essentially restrict that. But if you can get something like that where that plane stretches out slightly, where you can pass through the plane without being trapped in that sort of enclosed space that they designed, you can just swim anywhere at that point.
Yeah.
Also, this fight gets completely wrecked by Fireball.
Yeah, which is why, like, even in the any percent category, which is about 8 minutes long, getting Fireball is still worth it because of how fast it makes this fight.
Yeah, doing this fight the normal way without Fireball is very, very slow.
Yeah,
and
it's
RNG.
incredibly
It's even worse
RNG
RNG dependent than Gold.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Nice.
Good Ripto. Yeah. So I guess the reason why he's defeating Ripto now as well, defeating Ripto gives you a couple of bonuses that you wouldn't normally get. The first one is that he gets unlocks all instances of Moneybags, so he doesn't need to talk to Moneybags, and he unlocks all abilities. So the climb that he didn't buy, the head bash that he didn't buy, all of the levels that he didn't unlock, they're all completely open for him now after beating Ripto. Because I guess the game just assumes he should have them if he's beaten Ripto. But it also gives him something called Extended Sparks Range, which is the main reason why you beat Ripto early. So Sparks Range increases quite a bit, and that allows you to cut a lot of corners throughout most of the levels again, which is why you do it so early on, because it saves time during this part of the run, which is the main part, going through the levels and actually collecting all the things. So
yeah. In the past, we used to fight Ripto at the end just because that's how it was done, and there was like a thing a few years ago of like a
debate
rule change, I guess. To say that you can actually, like, you don't have to end on the final boss anymore, and it means that we get extended sparks range for basically the whole game.
Yeah, and essentially the reason behind that is like fighting the final boss doesn't actually give you any like percentage.
There's no like extra ending or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not like even. Well, I guess Spyro 1 and 3 have like extra levels at the end. This is one of the only ones. Like Dragon Shores doesn't give you percentage. Like the extra level at the end doesn't give you anything. And yeah, getting 100% gives you literally nothing special. So, yeah.
Yeah, so this is Robotica. So now I'm kind of working my way backwards through the rest of the game, actually collecting everything. So this is where the run gets more fun, IMO.
Yep.
I'm having to kill a bunch of enemies in this level. I need 15 by the time I get to a certain point, and I just got 15 there. To unlock the supercharged power-up. So power-ups in this game, Superfly, power-up, the temporary Super Flame and all this stuff, require you to kill a certain number of enemies in the level before they will unlock. A lot of these we can skip, like Fireball is really useful, and then just having double jump and stuff means we can skip a lot of the power-ups. But this is not one of them. The barn doors that you have to break with the supercharge do not break to Fireball.
Yeah, for whatever reason, you can break all the pumpkins along the track with Fireball, but yeah, these two barn doors that you can see sort of in the background to the right there, for whatever reason, are only breakable by having the supercharge power-up.
We're still going to do some extra stuff on the supercharge though. Break all these. Get the gems on here.
So unlike Spyro 1, when you're supercharging and you break vases and baskets and all those sort of things, you don't actually collect the gems. And so Dact will do 2 passes of the supercharge track, essentially. On the first pass, he wants to break all of those so that on the second pass, he doesn't have to stop his supercharge to collect all of those gems.
Yeah, there are some backups if you miss one of the containers, but it's still, you don't want to have to do that. Nice.
And so something else that we're seeing Dak do a fair bit of, one to end the level there, is something called flame charging. Or I guess in this case it would be more appropriate to call it fireball charging. Essentially the easiest way to explain it is that if you flame a basket or fireball a vase like that, and are within a certain range of it and charging at the same time as it breaks, the game essentially just thinks that, oh, you must have charged through it, and so will home the gems in as if you had actually charged through it.
Yeah, that combined with Fireball allows you to just get gems from really far away. It's
up so many corners, yeah. And there's another instance of entering a level from below, like you did Dragon Shores.
Yeah, so that level requires, I think it's 25 orbs to unlock, and so we're obviously nowhere near that, where we've not collected essentially anything outside of just beating bosses so far. And so we need to enter that level from out of bounds because we can't actually get it open yet.
Yeah, so while beating Ripto early gets rid of all money bags instances, that's a professor is locking that portal, so that one doesn't unlock for us, unfortunately. So yeah, we have to do the out of bounds to make this route work. And this level's hard.
Yeah, I'm on cycles for some UFOs that I have to kill at the end, and so I need to not make mistakes, which I haven't so far. So as long as I don't mess up the out of bounds jump, I should be fine.
Yep.
Yeah, so this level is really, really linear, and then it'll open up into a big sort of open area, and there's he has to destroy UFOs, a UFO challenge, and that's the cycle that he's trying to catch.
Yeah, and so that's more or less a global cycle. There are a few parts of the level where if, the camera's not facing the UFOs or you're far enough away from them, they don't move, I believe. But in general, those UFOs are running the entire time, and so you need to be doing the level consistently to get the same UFO cycles so that you know where they're all going to be when you get to this area.
That was perfect, as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got everything I wanted. Kill that last UFO with the splash damage from the fireball.
That's the other bonus of having fireball rather than getting it from far away. You can also use the splash damage. You'll see that you can actually do it through certain walls as well, to be able to get baskets and vases through certain walls. You'll see a bit later.
Yeah, this second set of UFOs only starts when you finish the first one, so it's easier to be consistent with. There is a bit of RNG with that last one at the end, but I got the...
Yeah, it essentially takes
worse.
one of two paths. And yeah, like Dak says, you just need to be able to adapt to which path you see it taking, and go from there.
Yeah, now just clear up the rest in this area.
So that's pretty much all the hard stuff in this level done.
Yeah, I've already broken all the balloons and stuff, so I can just clear everything up now.
You made that level look easy. That's not an easy level.
Yeah, I've practiced that one a lot.
That was really good. Oh,
this is actually a really solid... Yeah, this is a really solid run so far. Other than missing swim once and kind of a bad gulp, this has been really, really good. I don't have
fortunes of Spyro 2 100% at Australian Marathons changing.
Yeah. I don't have my timer open, so I don't know what my place actually is, but...
I've got no idea. I'm not even looking at the timer.
Yeah.
I'm just here to have fun.
Yeah, same.
The official timer is currently at 21:24.
I don't know what my normal split is here, so I can't... That doesn't really help. Camera doesn't... Like, it takes time to switch it to active, and so we don't. But I've never actually tried running with active camera.
Active camera does it... I feel like it'd make gulp skip real weird.
Yeah, true.
Essentially, there's no benefit to it. It would be completely down to personal preference. And yeah, as mentioned, that personal preference would lose you probably 5 seconds or so. So
yeah. I mean, the camera isn't too bad in this game. You're able to center it really quickly. It's unlike Spyro 1. Spyro 1, there's no real easy way to center your camera. In Spyro 2 and 3 and onwards, you can center your camera really quickly to sort of reset it. It makes it a little easier to manage, so it's less of an issue. And yeah, like the guys said, that you know, it makes tricks a bit easier having a camera that you can manipulate yourself. So,
Can I get some pew-pews in the chat, please?
Pew-pews.
Yeah, pew-pew-pew.
So this is a speedway level. This is obviously you've probably seen speedways in the Spyro Reignited trilogy run that was earlier. They're very similar, at least the first part. In Spyro 2, they introduced these hunter challenges. Almost all of them are auto scrollers. This one's just kind of on rails, and you gotta bust all 25 balloons. They're always in the same spot. You're always going the same way, so you just sort of
Shockingly easy to miss though.
Yeah, the like homing effect is a bit broken, but you can just shoot a lot, so it doesn't really matter usually.
Yeah, there's no cap, so you just hold down the button and it goes pew pew, and everyone laughed.
Also, the origin of one of the best emotes on Franco Faces.
Yeah. So yeah, hard challenge. It's kind of a nice little downtime after the start of the run.
Yeah.
It's been pretty full on until then.
Yeah, like there's a few challenges in this game that are kind of auto-scrollery, but the proportion is pretty low. And
Sure.
kind of...
So the next level he's going to be going into is one of the longest in the game, is Mystic Marsh, and Mystic Marsh routing is it's interesting because there's a lot of stuff happening in that level. It's pretty much all based around if you've played the game before, there's a trade sequence. You have to get the professor back his pencil, and he'll give you, what does he give you initially?
An egg.
An egg,
Start with
yeah.
the egg, yeah.
He starts with an egg, and then you got to trade the egg in for something, and then that'll give you. It's a whole trade sequence. And you got to do it about 4 or 5 times all the way throughout the level.
Yeah.
If
so
you
you'll
die,
see-
it resets.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
So don't
Dying
die
in this
in this
level is
level.
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Dactyly's going to go straight to the professor and grab the egg because he wants to get that as soon as possible and start. He's going to start and end the level at the trade sequence. So it's because it takes you all the way around the level. It just kind of makes sense to do the trade sequence while you're doing everything else. So
Yeah. Yeah, and then in between all of the places we're going for the trade sequence, we just fit in where we get where the gems are collected, where all the orbs are done. All of that stuff is fit in and around this trade sequence.
And also in a little bit, I'll activate an orb challenge where I have to kill some thieves, and that also affects the routing as well.
Yep.
Because when you kill the last thief, it teleports you back to the guy.
Yeah.
So this level is a pain to route.
It's annoying. Also, you can drop the items if you're taking an item from one person to another, one area to another. You're allowed to drop it, but then it goes into a timer before it disappears. So he's gonna. I think you still use that, don't you? You still.
No,
maybe you
not in
don't
this
anymore.
route. There's
Not
like
this
2
route.
routes for this level, and I'm doing the less common one. But
Okay. So yeah, probably a little bit safer actually.
Yeah, so there was a little bit of a sequence break there where at the same time, so as you saw Dak just pause there, when you kill the thieves, it goes into a very slow animation of the spark plug essentially floating over to you. You can skip that by pausing, but additionally, where Dak collected the end of level orb at the same time as he just killed a thief, and that means that he can skip that sequence of the spark plug flying over without having to pause the game. Underwater Sparks range is longer anyway, even without extended Sparks range. With extended Sparks range, it's just insane how
You can
far
literally
Sparks
just
will go. Yeah,
You can just make a straight line, and Sparks will just be like, "Yeah, I got you, fam."
Yeah.
So,
it does make
everything.
things a bit complicated where because he can go so far, he sort of has a hard time picking which gems to get sometimes, and you can move out of range.
Yeah,
So I
a lot of the.
shot a thief through the tree there, and you end up getting teleported back.
Oh, I forgot that's what you do in this round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did some like weird movement earlier to set him up to be there, and then shoot him.
Yeah. So he needed to make sure, obviously, to drop the item he was carrying, to be able to fireball, and then make sure he picks the item back up before he gets teleported, because otherwise he would have to go all the way back to where he dropped the item to pick it up.
Yeah, or not where he dropped the item actually, but where the item spawns initially, because as Mark mentioned earlier, there's a timer that starts and it would run out before you would be able to get back and get the item.
Yeah. So it's not too hard to pick it up, but it's always a little bit of a butt clenchy moment, especially if it's close. You're just like, oh, you got to make sure you pick that up, otherwise you can lose. You just lose lots of time here. So coming to the end of the level.
Finally got the pencil.
Got the pencil.
Just in time to be done with everything else.
Yep. That's it. The other cool thing about beating Ripto as well, another property of sparks, is that sparks will always point in the direction of the closest gem. So the one thing I like to use at the end of Mystic Marsh there is if I actually see during that cutscene of you getting the orb, if you see sparks sort of pointing somewhere that's not, you know, in the normal position sparks should be, it means you've missed a gem somewhere. You can kind of tell pretty quickly. You don't really use it that often, but if you think you've missed something, sometimes it is a little bit helpful to use. I know I use it on occasion.
Yeah, you can do that.
I was just thinking of saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You can do that even if you don't have, even if you haven't beaten Ripto, by actually holding all the shoulder buttons. But
so you don't really think about it when you're doing a run, though. It's kind of nice to have it passively.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sparks' behavior with extended range is a bit janky sometimes. There's certain gems that he'll just like fail to pick up if you don't run right through them.
It's
There's
also
one at this level actually a bit later.
Yeah, Sparks a lot of the times will prioritize gems further away. So sometimes you can run right next to a gem, and Sparks will be picking one up that's like 300 meters away, and it will just ignore the one that's right next to you. It's like, thanks, Sparks.
Yeah, so there are a lot of times where you'll get to the point where you actually just run through a gem because it ends up being the best way to collect it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna try and snipe some bells here. I'm not very good at this. There's
Nice.
one, and there's the other. Nice.
Oh, beautiful.
So this challenge, as you can see there, is meant to be done with a power-up. Again, having Fireball and Double Jump and all the things we can do with that allows us to completely skip that requirement, which is really nice because it's ridiculous the amount of enemies you need to kill to activate that one.
21. That's so many. There are a lot of enemies in this level, though, to be fair. So...
It also allows us to just do it immediately rather than need to run around and kill a bunch of enemies, which is really nice.
Yeah. Also, you just ran through a wall that only works one way. That's something you'll see in this game a lot. A lot of the times, walls only work one way, so you can't travel through them one way. But if you come through the other side, you can go through it. So
Little sequence break here. Yeah, you can say.
Yeah, it's a really interesting sequence break where we start the Agent Zero challenge and then we kill, or Dact killed the the Warlock at the end of the level before going down and starting that. He then moved out of the range to delay when he gets warped up to the end of level until he wanted to, so that he could start the challenge. And then as Agent Zero's moving towards the first tree and starting to his walk, you save time by getting the end of level orb, going through all of that, and not needing to, essentially you're saving time by syncing things up, doing two things at the same time.
yeah, it kind of it can be a bit tricky as well because with the agent, Agent Zero. God,
Agent 903.
Yeah, no, I always forget. Agent Zero. With the Agent Zero thing, it kind of locks your camera a little bit. It gives you this funky camera, this cinematic camera. I don't know what it is. So collecting a lot of the gems and not getting seen by Agent Zero after the actual sequence break part of it can be a little bit tough. Like I said, because you don't have a regular camera to work with, so you kind of gotta
Yeah, and you're working on a timer as well, where
Yeah.
you need to get to certain spots within a certain amount of time. You can't be seen, as Marta said, so it is quite tricky, deceptively so, with how well Dact pulled that off.
Yeah, it was pretty seamless.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when you have extended range. That used to be a strat even before early Ripto, and it was way harder.
Yeah. I used to collect a lot more of the gems in that area to make it a bit easier.
But yeah, that's when Natundra finished. We finished the last home world. We won't be going back there again. Which is another benefit to early Ripto. Normally you would have to do that home world in 2 visits.
Yep.
So yeah, now we're back basically at the start of the game again. These next 2 levels are kind of renowned for having luck-based minigames. One of them has become less luck-based recently, the hockey in this level.
That actually makes this one of my favorite levels now, the fact that hockey is less luck-based, because I used to love this level, and then it was just hockey that ruined it.
I'm excited to see this, because I've not even seen it.
Oh yeah, no, there's
That
consistent
showed
quick
it off
shots.
earlier. Yeah, it's really, really cool.
Nice.
Hopefully I don't fail it after hyping it up now. But...
It's consistent quick shots, and it's faster than, I guess, what you would originally have done as well. So
Yes.
it's a double whammy.
Yeah. Something I do want to call out there was Dact essentially got, it was something Mark mentioned earlier, but got a flame charge through a wall. So because of the splash damage on fireballs and because of how flame charges work, you can break, there's normally 2 baskets where Dact got that one. You can get both of them through the wall. Unfortunately, Dact had to go and clean up the one that he didn't manage to get. But yeah, because of the splash damage, you can break them through the wall, and because you can break them through the wall, you can then charge along next to it, and the gems will home in directly through the wall, which is really cool.
You'll see it again in Haruko, although you don't
Yeah.
really see the wall there. But
And then there's the underwater ones in Aquaria as well.
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
And Sunny Beach.
Yeah, this level's cool. I really like this level. The whole routing of it is neat.
I miss the scenery proxy. That was good, but it's not in the route
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite tricks in the run. Alright, so here we go. Hockey.
Oh, nice.
Yeehaw. Yeah, it's very good.
And it's not luck-based either, it's consistent.
Yeah,
It's
so
kind of
apparently-
hard to learn. Like it's the timing and positioning of it is kind of rough, but if you do it right, it works every time.
Nice. Because yeah, I know everyone used to where it seemed like there was some way you could manipulate stuff, but
And then it
even
wouldn't
like
work.
the speed that he throws the puck out, like the direction, there's a lot of different things that can change with this. But
Yeah,
I think
the
it
amount-
was Spora who found this, if I remember right.
surprised me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the amount of times when I was running this that, you know, it'd feel like every week someone would be like, I'd found a consistent setup, and then like a week later it's not consistent anymore.
yeah,
It's
and
every
it's something
time.
that like every quick shot you don't get loses you something ridiculous, like
Yeah,
5 or 6
seconds or
seconds,
something,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Hockey 2 is a lot more. I mean, it's still not quite consistent because the goalie at the start can shoot it in different directions, but it's a lot less.
Yeah,
crazy
the
'cause-
enemy goalie is completely manipulable. He will always throw it directly to his teammate, and so you can put yourself in between his teammate and him, and he'll always throw the puck directly to you.
Yeah,
which is
it's
much
your
more
goalie that
useful than
sucks.
your goalie. Yeah, exactly.
He
does
just shoots it
whatever
wherever
he
he
wants.
wants. Yeah.
He's playing his own game over there.
Yeah, so that time he did it in the opposite direction. But still doesn't really matter.
Yeah, as long as you see what he's gonna do, then yeah, you can adjust pretty quickly. Yeah, that's pretty painless hockey now.
A little Sproda there to get over to continue the statue challenge.
Yeah, cleaning up the rest of this orb challenge. Once he gets all 10, it'll warp him back to the professor. So he's got a few seconds here to collect those gems before he gets warped back. If he had died anywhere in the level, it would have warped him immediately.
It's always something.
Yeah, because you want to collect gems in
people,
that meantime. Yeah, so you always forget.
Definitely something that's always caught everyone off guard at least once.
Yep, it's definitely happened to me.
And so again, with these levels that sort of warp you around as you finish challenges, again, the routing isn't very straightforward. You know, it's not something where there's pretty much no levels I can think of that are in any way linear in the way that they're routed, just because so much of the, like, there's so many out of bounds, there's so many instances of getting warped all over the place that it just doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, Metropolis is really the only instance I can think where it sort of starts off linear-ish, but then you get halfway. Cloud temples, yeah, but yeah, then you get halfway through the level, and it's just like, okay, now you got to think about how to route the rest of it. So because it sort of opens up. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, like I said earlier, you just want to try and beeline to the end. And if there's like open areas, a lot of the times you might have to pass through those areas a couple of times, depending on what orb challenges and things you've got going. So this is the biggest instance of RNG, I think, in the sense that you literally can't control it. So he's going to start this, or not this part. This part's you just
the heavy RNG there.
Heavy
you know, sometimes you just jump on a corner and it doesn't do what you think it's going to.
No. The second part of this challenge, which is you have to feed this idol 10 colored fish, but not the red ones. And the frequency, there's a red one, yeehaw. So he'll only take blue or yellow fish. The frequency with which they jump and what color fish you get is completely random. There's nothing you can do to change it. So if you just get 10 red fish in a row, which can happen, then you just sit there and twiddle your thumbs, I suppose. And
we are back to fishing.
Actually, this is really. Yeah, this is truly the fishing speedrun marathon.
Yeah.
This is actually like pretty average so far. It's not been too bad, but I did a practice run yesterday and I got the first 9 like really quickly. I was waiting for like a minute for the last one.
You were very brave to call that out at 9 out of 10.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. That can go a lot worse.
Where was my fireball?
So
you might have noticed that I was just like kind of stopping mid-charge a couple times there. The way you like flame quickly while charging, you have to let go of square before you can flame. And so it's like a technique that you have to get good at when you're running Spyro games, of like switching from X to circle and square to circle and then back to square very quickly.
Took me ages to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. Occasionally you just kind of mess it up and don't get a flame. Oh, missed. Break some baskets through, or one basket through the roof there.
Yeah, I don't know whether it actually, or it probably does with early Ripto, but it's mostly just a convenience thing for that one, right?
No, I think
there's a little bit of time.
You want to break at least one of them,
because that way you only have to charge through one of the baskets. You can kind of make a straight line rather than.
So again, something here, breaking those before we get warped so that we don't need to. It's actually really awkward to have to collect those at any other time, and then here is, I think, the first instance of a proxy that we've seen.
I think so,
yeah, probably.
So essentially, the easiest way to explain how that works is that there's a large hitbox for that open chest. While you're charging, the game will allow you to go through most of that hitbox. If you stop charging, the game suddenly says, oh, you shouldn't be here, and tries to throw you out of it. If you, during a charge, tap X, it will sort of do a little stutter in the air, which essentially counts as not charging anymore. And then because you immediately go back to charging, the momentum is essentially conserved in some way, or there's some interaction where in the game throwing you out of the hitbox you then suddenly gain a whole bunch of speed and get propelled into the air, and that's what we call proxies.
Tried to get a boost up the stairs there and keep the supercharge, but didn't manage it.
He also did the one cycle of that challenge there, where he got all the gems along the path and completed the orb challenge. That's made a lot easier with extended sparks. I think
Yeah,
there
it's
were
not
a couple
possible
of people.
without it.
Is it not? I thought
Nah.
people had done it.
Really?
Maybe I'm wrong.
I could have just not seen, but
I'm thinking Saboom. Like
you can do like a 1.5 cycle where you do like backwards for one pass and then forwards the other, so you don't
Maybe that's
actually
what
go
I'm
the full
thinking
way
of.
around. But yeah, it's reasonable to do everything in one pass with early Ripto. So we're like probably about 40 something minutes in, and we're gonna learn how to jump and glide.
We're also going to learn to jump and glide, and the underestimates from Hunter here on how easy things are to do. You know,
Very good.
be sure to glide and tap triangle at the very end of your jump.
Yeah. Also, unfortunately, there's no skateboarding in this game. Sorry, that's Spyro 3, which we were supposed to have in the marathon, but then
What the heck?
Yeah,
things changed.
things changed.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, there's actually that jump at the end there to get up to where the orb is actually a very difficult jump. So the Hunter teaching you how to jump is still somewhat relevant.
Oh, come on. Going for another swim in out here. This one kind of painful.
Yeah,
So this
what's-
one
There we
works, yeah, it works in a different way to the other swim in air that we talked about, where Spyro has an animation when he swims. If you push yourself right up against a lip of a lake or a plane of water there are some that are essentially close enough to the plane of water where that animation can sort of knock you up out of the body of water and leave you with swim in air again without being constricted into the sort of container that they wanted you to be.
And yeah, use that swim to just clean up a bunch of stuff in the home world. Get all the stuff that's up on a ladder that you're supposed to climb. And then skip into Ocean Speedway. And I forgot a boat. That's gonna be
Sure
a
did.
bit later. Yeah.
Not a massive issue.
Yeah.
I think this is honestly probably, I'm trying to think whether there are any speedways in Spyro 3, but I think this is honestly one of my favorite speedways in all three of the original games. It's really, really cool, the route.
Hard.
Yeah. It's got a good
Nice.
hunter challenge as well, which is rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the few that is. I think it's sort of more intended to be an auto scroller, but you can break it to go faster. I think it's one of the few that you can actually speed up.
If you watch a world record tier run, you'll see an even faster route for this level that snipes a bunch more stuff with fireballs. But that's really hard. Yeah, we do break the hunter challenge quite a lot. You're supposed to kind of follow him around through these rings, but we can get a lot of the rings out of order and save some time.
Yeah. Yeah, so Hunter always goes through the rings in the same order, obviously. And so as long as we get to the rings that he's going through in time before they shrink and the challenge is lost, you can get rings along the way that are just a little bit outside of where Hunter is going to essentially break this challenge a little bit and basically just do it
That could be
as
bad.
fast as you can.
Okay, still got it.
Nice.
All right, nice.
Yeah, making a mistake there can be pretty costly.
Yeah, exactly. Because you are doing stuff out of order, it does leave you with some very tight windows that you need to meet. But Dax still managed to pull it out there.
Yeah, nice. And yeah, you don't even see Hunter. Hunter's still going through rings that don't exist, and you're already
Yeah.
finished the challenge. So
If you go the normal route, like following Hunter, you can't finish before he does. He rubber bands pretty
Yeah.
heavy. But The start of Farrakos is pretty standard, just normal gem collecting. So if you've got like donations and stuff, it's probably
I'd say the same thing, yeah.
Maybe not. Feel free to, yeah, if you can here, feel free to interrupt us whenever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we do have some donuts. So
Oh, yeah.
Hey, nice.
We have $30 from Anonymous. Put this towards the Ratchet and Clank Deadlocked Co-op incentive. Thank you, Anonymous, for your $30. And we have $40 from Madge. $10 for each death, I think. Lamau, all the world's hardest game. Thank you all so much. So thank you, Madge, for that money. Appreciate it.
Nice. So yeah, another level we're doing a bit out of order. That first area is kind of normal, but then we skip up here and grab this orb, which...
Remember the fan challenge from this game? Yeah. You don't need to touch...
Yeah, there's a bunch of buttons you're supposed to hit, and like there's a supercharged power up and slow down some fans, go across all the roofs, but don't need to do any of that. And then this is the second part of that orb challenge.
Yep.
He's now going to skip into the talisman room as well, and hopefully he'll get...
Nice.
Yep, gets both of those. That's using the splash damage to get... that was actually... It looked like it was see-through, but that's a one-way wall, so it's actually a wall on the other side, and he hit those... the wall, and both of those vases homed in with the splash damage, so...
Yeah, and that just cleans up the route for this area a bit, not having to go up and get those.
Yeah, it makes it a little nicer. I like this level as well. When this level goes well, it feels really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here sort of mesmerized by the execution, right?
Thanks. But then the slightly less fun part of this level is the lightning orbs challenge. It's not awful, but it can go very wrong.
Yeah.
So he's gonna put these orbs back in very specifically. So he's gonna put in all the orbs in the bottom area. He's gonna grab this orb from the bottom. He's gonna completely skip this middle one. He's gonna try and clear out. The way this works, you can sort of see there's three areas. So there's the top area, the middle area, and the bottom area. There are 4 enemies in the top area that spawn. There's 2 enemies in the middle area, and there's 4 in the bottom area. So he's trying to kill all 4 enemies. So yeah, there's all 4 that have spawned. It's a little bit slow, but he managed to actually kill all 4 enemies in the top area. So that means he doesn't have to come back to this. Lightning orbs, man. But yeah, that means once he puts all the orbs back in, there's no more enemies that are going to spawn up there. So now he's going to go down and clear this bottom area. So he has to put some of them back in to actually get the rest of these enemies to spawn. Should be 8. So put in the rest of the orbs, and then he'll get the 2 in the middle area, and that'll finish the challenge. So if it's done, that was a little bit slow, but lightning orbs can... Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's a bit much, but yeah, you can definitely, like, and we'll see it here, where a lot of the time you are able to kill the enemies before they even grab the orbs out, and so you won't need to do a lot of the replacing that Dact ended up having to do there.
Yeah, but
if it goes very, very clean, but yeah, that was still very good.
Yep. Yeah, honestly, as long as you get all 4 in the top area, then usually you're okay. If you mess up there, sometimes you can only spawn, I think, 3 of them initially, and that's where you have problems. So
it's possible to also despawn thieves so that they just don't come back. That doesn't really happen with this route, but with some of the older routes, that was pretty common.
It has happened to me with this route before.
Yeah,
so.
okay. I've never had it.
Only once, but it has happened. So. So this is a deceptively tricky level. It's pretty short, but...
yeah, this is one of the hardest levels to do really well. Yeah. missing stuff underwater is the worst. And
Nice.
splash damage. not
Especially when
working.
you do it twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got those crates, obviously. Normally you would have to get a fireball power up, but obviously we've got fireball, so he can...
Yeah, one of those
grab
levels
them
where
immediately.
you would need to, 1, kill a bunch of enemies, and 2, go through the level to the end, and then come back all the way through to get all of these chests.
Yep.
But because we don't have to go to the end of the level, we can just clear it out as we move through the level.
The big penguins with the spades have enormous hurt boxes, like they'll hit you from really far away.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with your movement. in some
And also,
cases.
if you hit them with the fireball, their death hitboxes are also ginormous as well.
Yeah,
So you
they like get really
so
big
annoying.
when you hit
Yeah.
them.
And they
So-
send out like all of these random particles from their like floaties breaking as well. There's just so much stuff that you can run into as you kill them if you're trying to charge around.
Yeah. I like to kill those enemies just to be safe, so I don't get hit, and then I just bonk on his death hitbox like 3 times, and it's really fun.
So this challenge, getting to this challenge back in the old days used to cause some big problems because this was before Gulp Skip, and so there was no climb yet. Like you get climb in the next world. And so skipping to this challenge is actually, it got easier with the discovery of a proxy off one of the little turtles, but the original way to skip up here was really hard. Like a jump, you had to like flame one of the turtles, so
Yeah,
they
you had
jumped,
to get
then
him up to
jump
the
on its
top,
back,
stand
at
on
the
top
peak
of
of
him,
its
or-
I
jump.
think I remember Spud doing that at a GDQ, didn't he?
Yeah,
I
I
think
had
that was
trouble with
bef-
it for a long time.
That looked like hell. So you can complete the first turtles challenge by only hitting 2 turtles in. Dak got an extra turtle just because he hit that second
he's
turtle
slow.
in the cauldron. Yeah, basically. I was trying to avoid the word. It's fine.
It's fine.
So it actually does.
Swear jar for saying slow.
Not allowed to say the word. It actually changes the where the turtles come out if you get an extra turtle in the first phase. So you have to be wary of whether or not you get 2 or 3 turtles, because it'll change where they pop out in the second phase. But otherwise, it's consistent. So
And then the underwater fireballs have a weird property where they appear like slightly in front of Spyro's mouth. And so if you rub up against a wall like that and shoot a fireball, it appears on the other side of the wall. And so you can shoot stuff that's like further away through the wall. And so,
So,
I
yeah,
broke the
you
last
can-
turtle box through the wall there.
Yeah, you couldn't see it at all, but you're essentially breaking that last turtle box and then get warped back to the end. So it's also important to line up the turtle boxes where that is the last one you break. It's not something where if you miss a turtle box, you can just be like, oh, I'll just go back and get that later at some point. You're sort of locked into getting them in the order that is routed in.
And there'll be an even more important instance of that at the start of this level as well.
Yep.
You're supposed to hit some buttons to like fill up this level with water, but we will be able to hit the last one from the very start.
yeah, this level's hitting the very last button from here actually messes with the water properties in the rest of the level as well. So you'll see that a bit later too. But yeah, so he hits that last button through the wall with the same method, and it'll actually spawn him in that last area after the little cutscene. So
Oh, I did get that.
you did get it, yeah.
Okay.
So he's going to clear out this room, and then he's going to go in true Spyro 2 fashion. He's going to go backwards through the level once again.
So these sharks, you can only kill them with fireballs. There's like a intended temporary super flame power up that you're supposed to kill them with. They don't actually damage you, but if you get close to them, there's just a cutscene that plays where you die. So
Yep.
they just insta-kill you.
See, we're going to see something interesting. He's already swimming, and he's swimming again.
Swimming again.
He's already swimming,
and
and
swimming
he's
again.
swimming again. And something even more interesting is going to come out of the water, and oh, now it's air. Wow, that's crazy.
This is what happens when you hit the buttons out of order.
Yeah. So he was already in a swimming state, but the water plane, again, because he hit it out of order, he hasn't actually hit the button in this room to raise the water level. I guess the game just assumes you obviously to do it in order, and he hasn't done it in order. So that room is not filled with water. So he's actually going through another water plane, so he starts swimming again. And then he goes through another water plane, which already normally exists there.
It's a really good it's a really good show of how water actually works, where it isn't bodies of water, but it is just planes. And makes it really obvious.
And then obviously he comes out of the swimming state when he leaves that final body of water as well. So if you come up out of that water plane, it'll just take you out of the swimming state.
So now we just get to chill for a bit. This is how you get out of bounds in this level. You just swim into the ground. And the invisible wall doesn't apply to you when you're facing the ground for some reason.
Yeah, you don't see anything else like that in the game, I don't think. It's very strange.
Yeah, and so another case, I mean, we saw it in the last level as well, where we got to the end without taking the guy's kids to the end of the level, and it was still very happy just to see us. This guy apparently only cares about the kid that is in the 6th tower and none of the others, because we didn't rescue any of the other ones.
Yeah, the intended way to do that is he'll unlock the 1st tower, and then once you collect the first kid from the 1st tower, it'll break open the door to the 2nd tower, so you kind of have to do it one at a time. But yeah, going out of bounds, you collect 6 kids, the only one he cares about, the favorite child, and then the other 5 are still stuck in there somewhere. So you can have that on your conscious stack.
I'm too busy riding around.
Riding away.
Yeah. Collect almost all the gems up here during these Manta challenges, which is a lot easier done with extended range.
Yeah, it took a long time for a proper route in this top area to actually include a lot of the gems. A lot of it was, you would collect all the gems and then you'd start the challenge until someone's like, I'm actually going to route this properly.
Yeah.
And it saves a lot of time. So, yeah. But yeah, it took an embarrassingly long time to get a proper route here.
And cool thing here where you kind of turn off the course and then get this ring the wrong way and it still counts. You can skip that ring and it will finish the challenge, and then when Hunter talks to you, the game will crash. Fun. So don't do that.
Unless you're on an emulator. But it's obviously banned because it would be an emulator only.
I don't know how that works on more accurate emulators. I know EPSXE it works, but I don't know how it is on Magnafone or something.
Yeah, true.
The true test of an accurate emulator. Does it crash when skipping the 2nd last ring in Aquaria?
That's Summer Forest all done.
Yeah. And now we get to the longest home world, Autumn Plains. It's kind of split into 2 areas. You've got the downstairs area and then the upstairs. He's actually going to go up and get a level in the upstairs area. Normally, originally you would sort of separate the areas. You do the bottom area, then you'd come up and do the top area. But there's a neat little thing in a few levels time that will point out that makes this route a bit faster. So he'll get Scorch first, and then he'll go down and finish the bottom area.
Yeah. This is another one where you save a lot of time from not having to activate the power up. You need to kill 20 plus enemies in this level to activate the super flame, which you only need to knock a guy off a flagpole a couple times. So because we can do that with the permanent fireball, we don't need the power up. So we can just skip right to the end.
Yeah, again, going straight to the end because that's where the challenge starts, and the challenge takes you back through actually all 3 areas. There's 3 different areas back through the level, and this challenge will take you through all 3. So you don't collect pretty much anything, and while completing this challenge, you'll be collecting everything in those mini areas. So this is Bombo. Just gotta dodge his bombs. You can come up here. And
somewhat manipulatable. Bombo will essentially throw the bombs in the direction that you're holding on the D-pad, I think, essentially. And so you can, to some extent, have an idea of where he's actually going to be throwing stuff.
There's one place at the very end of this route where you can just get sniped for no reason. It's pretty rare, but it's happened to me a couple times.
Oh, while we're playing with Bombo, I might take a second for some donations.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got monkeys, which is boring. So
yeah.
Sweet. So we have $72 from Anonymous that says, "Go Dact. Thank you for your very
Nice.
generous donation,
I
Anonymous."
agree.
And we have £10 from Jack of Hearts, who says, "What are you, some kind of goat?" Thank you, Jack of Hearts, for your £10 donation. Yeah.
Hey, thank you for the donations, everyone. I think we've still got some donation incentives that need to be met. So,
Yes, we do, in fact, have some donation incentives that desperately need some love and attention. So I'll tell you about those right now while we're ignoring the monkeys.
Yeah, go.
We have coming up, we have Rift Apart category change to New Game Plus. All gold bolts, which needs another $370. So get in for that if you want to see all gold bolts. We have Ratchet Deadlocked do a New Game Plus solo co-op bonus run, which needs only $205 to make that happen. Getting very close now, we have Bioshock 2 Play Asteroids, which needs a mere $23. Super Monkey Ball, there's a open bid wall for that, for what language to choose. Currently, Italian's in the lead, but with $20. And we still need $714 to make World's Hardest Game happen, which is a run I personally really want to see.
Yeah, we've already got 1,200 for that, so we don't want that one.
Yeah, we don't want that to go to waste. Like, let's make it
Absolutely.
happen, chat.
Sorry, Jack of Hearts. I didn't realize you were expecting a response. I guess I'm a fawn, you dork.
Yeah.
Yep, so we actually just sniped Bombo out of the air with the fireball. That's kind of neat. It's a really cool trick. But yeah, I mean, this level's more or less, you saw the very first part where he freed Bombo, collected some stuff, and then went to the end of the level. That's pretty much all this level is. You just do it 3 times in longer durations.
This third one is actually really interesting, and I want to shout out Venom for being sort of the catalyst for finding this, where you can essentially completely ignore him as long as you sort of hit a couple of key points. Bombo will just go through the level on his own. You'll notice him here. He'll come and bump us as he flies past.
There he is.
And then we can just run through here, get these last gems, and Bombo's at the end.
Yeah, it's really neat. Yeah, like Pastor was saying, you hit a couple of triggers, and that just moves him through the level. So
yeah, and we only found that because of how bad Venom was at the game at the time. So
I'm glad you pointed that out.
That's how stuff gets discovered. So yeah, as Mark was saying earlier, I'm not going to continue through the castle here. I'm going to go back and get all the stuff that's on the lower level. Starting with one of my favourite levels, Breeze Harbor.
Bit of a tricky level as well, but it's got a cool route. It's
Yeah. If you remember Trouble with the Trolley.
everyone
this is
remembers
level.
Trouble with the Trolley.
Unfortunately, I won't be riding the trolley. There's ways to get all the gears without, but I figured I'd give it a shout out.
We will not be having any trouble with the trolley today.
I may be having trouble with the trolley challenge, even if I'm not riding the trolley. But hopefully not.
Yeah, we may hear the line. Hopefully not.
So yeah, you can jump up onto the track and collect these. Now, they won't be a counter for it. So you just have to remember which ones, like, I guess just remember the route, but just remember which ones you've collected, because there are 50 gears total. But because you aren't on the trolley, it won't give you a counter. So you just have to make sure you are collecting all of them. It's a weird one where once you collect all 50, it won't auto warp you like a lot of other challenges do, because you're doing this so unintended. You do have to speak to the guy that gives you the challenge initially after collecting all 50.
And you do need to be careful. I can't remember the specifics these days, but if you talk to him and haven't collected them all, I think you
break the
into some
challenge.
issues.
Yeah. I think you have to possibly die and restart the challenge. And dying, just don't fail it. But yeah, I think you might have to die and restart it, and that respawns all 50 gears. So yeah, don't.
Yeah,
do that.
it also means dying in this level is very much not desirable.
Not great.
Because you will need to essentially restart what you're doing
No clan proxy.
completely.
No, that's like the easiest fodder proxy in the game, especially on the like upward slope there. It makes it even easier.
Mm.
It's no big deal if you miss it, but it's just cool to get.
Yeah, you can get some really, really high clan proxies as well.
Yeah. Yeah, similar to the chess proxy we saw in Idle. It's just done with a fodder, where you're putting Spyro's hitbox in in somewhere it's not supposed to be, and then using. Ooh,
That's fine.
Yeah.
oh.
Now I have to get a clam to get back up.
Yeah, there you go, clan proxy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, intended. Completely intended.
Yeah, I just wanted to show it off.
Yeah. Okay. The butthole clencher.
Having head bash here is very nice as well, because if that does happen, you can usually recover it and like head back up in there.
Forgot what I was saying now, I'm too busy sweating.
Yeah, same.
Oh, no maskless.
Shush.
No balls. No balls.
Nice. I was always so terrible at getting that to get all of the gems.
Yeah, I'd always miss like a 2 gem there.
Yeah, there'd always be 1 2 gem left.
You have to like run a bit further forward than you want to before
Letting go.
before talking to him. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Crisis averted in that level.
Yeah, that was clench moment.
Go to Skelos. This
So I
is,
got. Oh,
sorry,
go ahead.
you go. No, you go. You go, man.
Someone asked in the chat how I got the fireball breath. Basically, you can skip like everything in this game. You can get into the bosses without actually doing any of the levels. And so at the very start of the run, I went through and just like made a beeline to the end of the game. And then there's a permanent fireball power-up in Dragon Shores that you're supposed to get as a reward for 100%ing the game. You can like carry it over into a new file as a New Game Plus thing. But we can get into it early and get it kind of for the normal run.
Yeah. So this level, again, skipping to the end, it has a mystery jar, which again spawned, saw the first instance of it. It's right at the end of the level, so skipping to the end and then going back through.
And this level's quite cool where it's all redded out with Sparks' health in mind. So you can see Dactyly doing a lot of damage abuses to essentially make the route work, where a lot of this is meant to be done with an invincibility power-up. But again, in the general theme of things, we're trying not to use power-ups, or we avoid using power-ups where we can, because it ends up being a lot faster to not have to kill a bunch of enemies. And so we need to take a lot of damage during this level. So there are definitely some moments where things can get very tight because you're on like 0 health or low health. But it makes for quite an impressive looking route.
That's a shame. And I missed the lizard outside. So.
Yeah, so you can't try it again. Right, there's a lizard here, and
Nice. That makes life
That
easier.
happens so frequently. You get a life like right around here.
Yeah.
So the way the lives work, at least I think the way it works, is every 10th fodder you get gives you a life. I think there's a little bit more to it than that. But
It
that's the gist.
resets when you die, I believe. There's a few different caveats to it, but yeah, in essence, I think 10 fodder is where it sits. Although I know there were people that did some research into it. I think there was a run that was suspected of cheating or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Which made a couple of people essentially deep dive into it and figure out exactly how it all works, but it's not really relevant to know for any situations.
Yeah. Jeremy tried to, and maybe he actually did, make a fodder route for 3NE.
he did. Yeah,
But,
he made a fodder route.
So it's like there's a few people have investigated how that works. So this Dino Eggs challenge, at least the second one of these, was like impossible. Doing this as a little kid, I had a lot of trouble with this. But thankfully, if you know where they're all coming from, it's easy.
Yeah, it's one of those, you do it once, just remember where they are, and it's easy.
Yeah,
Especially
and
with
Fireball, obviously. Yeah.
Fireball helps, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The last two of these, I use a cue with the background music to get a fireball right as it spawns, which I think is pretty cool.
Oh, you use the music. Okay.
Yeah.
On the subject of music, earlier in chat we were talking about music. Do you have a favorite track from the game?
Honestly, the music in this game is not that memorable to me. I don't know if other people disagree. The Gulp boss music is good. That's probably my favorite. But
No, I'm definitely the same. But like, there's a lot of music where when I'm in a level, I can listen to it and be like, yeah, this is pretty cool. But for me, it's not ever something I can think of off the top of my head of like, oh
yeah,
this
if
is
someone's like,
my
oh, what does the Idle
yeah.
Springs music sound like? I have no
I don't
idea.
know. I can tell you what the Glimmer music sounds like. That's because I spent
Yeah.
half my life there. So,
Shut
up. Get out of my head.
Yeah, 3 has some memorable tracks, and then 1 is just full of bangers. Spyro 1 is great.
Yeah, I think Spyro 1 has the best music. So. This level's fun. This is a tricky level. Another tricky level, kind of like Sunny Beach. It's hard to do fast.
Yeah, there's a lot happening. It's all happening in like very tight spaces. It's just, yeah, lots going on.
Yeah, have to kill enemies for this one as well because we need the Superfly power up. I don't actually remember how many. I just know which enemies I kill.
18? 15? 16?
18 seems like too much. I think it's probably
Yeah.
15.
This is made much easier by Moneybags not being there.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise,
The bridge is
that
already down
bridge
there.
wouldn't be there. Yeah.
I'll do this jump to make up for Marcellus. There you go.
Nice. 15 or 16? It might be 16. Oh, I don't remember. It's been.
I think it is 15 because I missed one and I need to kill both of these now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you do have an allowance of one that you can miss.
Yep.
But
It's 18 in Shady, isn't it? Maybe that's
Yes.
what I'm. Yeah. Okay, that's what I'm getting confused with.
Yeah, Shady is rough because you can only miss one or two and it can kind of be annoying with where they stand sometimes.
yeah, we'll talk about it when we get there. But there's also a really interesting thing about Shadies that would make the run much worse, in my opinion, if it applied to all levels.
Oh, is this how long the particles take to get to the end?
Oh, I just mean the
No.
fact that the challenge, you can't do it if you don't activate the power.
Oh,
up.
true, yeah. So this is a Superfly jump. It's basically a double jump while flying. Oddly enough, though, that works in Spyro 3 as well. Double jumps, in general, don't work in Spyro 3. They kind of fixed them. But the doing it while superflying still works.
Yeah, again, it's somewhat similar, I think, to Spider-Man, where you can do it in 3, but the effect that you get from it is definitely more pronounced in
Yeah.
Spyro 2, where obviously the double jump enhances it. But yeah, as Dax said, it is still possible in the third game.
Oh yeah, and this is George, the snow leopard. He's cute. After
He's also
run around
very
and
slow.
feed him. Yes. Gives us the chance to get stuff while he's walking around. Yeah, we feed him some fish. So more fishing.
Yeah, fishing. There you go. Beautiful.
Gamers just love fishing.
Even when we're gaming, we're fishing.
So George kind of moves at an awkward speed. It's like if you just walk, he'll like catch up to you and you'll waste time. But if you charge, he gets left behind and like stops moving.
Yeah, he just, he's like a child, has no object permanence. Once you're out of his sight, you don't exist anymore.
Yeah. We did have a fishing game earlier in the marathon. It was amazing.
It was an incredible run.
Both fishing games we had in the marathon were amazing.
Wait, what was the second one? I know Fisherman's Bait.
We did Big the Cat.
Oh, true.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
forgot
did see
about
that one. Yeah.
Really a fishing game.
What a stupid game that is. Stupid run. So yeah, this is Zephyr. Zephyr also has a mystery jar. So again, making.
I think this is our longest level in the run as well.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, it's really big.
Yeah, it's like a 6-minute split.
Yeah, there's
a bit less than
verticality
that,
as well. So you can see there's like a whole bottom area as well. So it's just very, very massive.
Yeah, and the challenges that are in the level just sort of end up taking a long time because of how they work.
Yep. Yeah, Cowlax is fun. So yeah, again, Fireball, he can break the door without using the cannon. He does actually get damaged by that TNT.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for some reason, all the little ones around the big one do damage you, but if you land in the big one, it won't. Like, you won't take any damage.
But the NPC is fine because he had his helmet on, but
Yeah.
we don't have one.
That's a really interesting out of bounds there, where you need to glide at essentially a very particular height and then hover at the right time to essentially go under an invisible wall. And then, yeah, you can get up onto the ledge that Dak got up to there and just charge out of bounds from that point.
Yeah, I could never figure that jump out. That always eluded me.
One of my only contributions to this category is incorporating that into 100%. Like, I didn't find the jump. That was CSG.
But you made the route,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, I made the Hondo route with it.
So this is Cowlix. This is why this level takes so long. You've got to get these cows back to Little Bo Peep. And they're quite frustrating to work with, to say the least.
Yeah, with the Fireball actually helps because you can send them further than you normally would by flaming or charging them. So you can see he's setting them really high and really far. Which you'll see in the second part of the challenge. You have to you have to return 5, and then Little Boy Peep will be like, oh, there's still 2 more, and that's in an area where you would normally get a Fireball power up, but obviously you've already got Fireball, so I don't know.
This is something that just takes a long time to actually get good at manipulating them, hitting them from the right angles, all of that stuff. It's quite tricky.
Some people are just really, really good at this. I know Bucci was always really good at manipulating.
I still, anytime watching Alex play this level is just absurd.
Yeah. Because however hard you think it is, or even if you think it's easy, it's harder than you think. Because the Cowlex also move based on where you are to them as well. You can try and put one in, and then another one will move away from you, and then the Fireball splash damage will hit one way and one the other way. It's an absolute mess sometimes.
That was pretty good. I'm happy
it wasn't
with that.
bad, yeah.
Yeah.
There is also something interesting you can do there where you can off camera the last Cowlick you get in, and then come and get these 2 and actually get essentially both parts of the challenge done at the same time. I think it might be a very minor time save and generally isn't really worth going for if you need to set it up in any way. But it's nice. It's a nice little thing to keep in mind if it does end up working out that way.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. So I've definitely seen a lot worse.
Yeah.
So now he's completed that. So the downstairs effectively area is complete. Now he's going to finish off this mystery jar and go back through the rest of the level, like basically this whole first area, which he completely skipped initially. And he's going to clear that up and then finish pretty much exactly where he started with the last mystery jar instance. So.
Oh my god, it's balloon. Tried to snipe it before, but there's a bird that always gets in the way.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, you sniped the bird really well, though.
Yeah. Really? Yeah, a lot of optimization of this run is just like hitting stuff with fireballs from far away.
Yep.
Like, you need to get very good at aiming fireballs, and obviously you can't actually aim it unless you go into first-person view and waste a bunch of time. So you just have to kind of know how Spyro's head behaves, depending on what you're doing and what direction he'll spit in.
Well done.
The last level in this downstairs area, it's another speedway. This is Metro. Not too challenging, this one. I'd say it's probably one of the easier speedways in the run.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. Not quite as easy as Canyon, but
I did mess up Canyon though, so
yeah, that's true.
I think I missed that pigeon.
You did, yeah. I'm sorry. I shouldn't speak.
What have you done, Mark?
It's alright, he can get it. He has to pass back through that area, so it's just a little bit awkward to grab.
Getting these bungee jumpers requires pretty good aim as well. Like, you need to hit the ripcords. Ripcords? They're just cords, I guess. Alright, where is he?
Cords,
There he is. Okay.
Yeah, so normally he wouldn't have to go to the left there, he would just turn right, but yeah, it's not too bad.
And then the Hunter Challenge is pretty good in this as well.
Yeah, it's mainly an auto-scroller, but you can speed it up a little bit by...
You can speed it up quite a lot. He rubber bands to you, so...
Yeah. So yeah, you can supercharge, which is a little bit faster than flying. So you kind of try and do that as much as you can. And then, yeah, Hunter just zips forward to be ahead of you. So... And then you can also collect the last bag pretty much immediately as it drops as well, finishing the challenge a bit quicker. He's gonna get this one. And then, yeah, just charge straight into him. Cool, so now he's going to leave this level, he's going to grab the last of the gems in this bottom area, and he's going to speak to Allura again, and that might seem like a mistake, but Allura will... Yeah, Allura has a weird property. I actually don't remember why Allura does this. But...
Because you don't have all the talismans yet.
So
she just warps you to the nearest level that you haven't got the talisman in.
Yeah, which just happens to be Fracture Hills. Which is in the
exactly
top area.
where we want to be.
Yeah. That's why he completed Scorch earlier. So he completed that. That means he doesn't have to go, all the way back up there and then down the stairs. Instead, he just gets teleported directly in front of Fracture Hills. There's no gems or anything on the stairs down from Scorch to Fracture Hills. So there's no reason to go down that path. That's why it is a little bit faster as well. So.
Delayed break on one of those vases. But yeah, so this level is cool. You need to shoot these satyrs, the trapped in rock, I guess, crystal, I don't know, to unlock the final area with the talisman. And normally you would need to kind of stand next to them and... Wow, that was weird. Stand next to them and shoot them. But with the... Or flame them, rather. But with the fireball, you can hit them from far away and hit multiple at once and miss gems and yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, up until very recently, it was essentially thought that the final area, because the final area is there and you can get into it early, But for whatever reason, even if you go in there, because stuff isn't loaded properly, you can't get the talisman without having $3 satyrs. But somewhat recently, it was found that there is a very specific way that you can get into that final room and actually get that talisman early without freeing all the satyrs.
Really cool trick.
Yeah.
Not useful in this category, but saves a bunch of time in 14 Tower.
Yeah. So obviously, Dact has started this challenge. He's defeated all the rock monsters.
Earth Shapers.
Earth Shapers, thank you. He's defeated all of them, so the Alchemist has there's no issues. He's not going to get hit by them. So now he can just while that challenge is running, he can run around and do a bunch of other stuff on level 3 this satyr. And hopefully, if all goes well, grab this orb as well.
Yeah, this cycle is not particularly tight, really.
No.
As long as
And
you
then,
get the skip the orb cutscene before you get warped, you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're a little bit too slow, it won't warp you. You'll still get the orb. You'll get the cutscene for it, but it won't.
Yeah, there's a few different outcomes. Yeah, like you can not get warped. You can get warped too early and need to go and talk to the Fawn again to get her orb. So there's a few different things where
depends on how
based
slow or
on
fast you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that didn't work. Oh, I accidentally. I was going back for that gem. I'm supposed to leave him and get him in a double later, but.
Yeah, normally he'd turn around and aim at that 5th satyr and then hit this guy at the same time to get another double, again saving one of these text boxes. But
yeah, one of the text boxes, one of the cutscenes, essentially combining the two.
Spark's gone as well. This is really bad.
These 4 gems are the absolute worst to collect without sparks.
Yep.
And just because of how things work out, it's somewhat likely to take damage and not have sparks there as well.
Tempted to just death abuse here. Because the start of Magma with no sparks is also pretty bad.
yeah, that's not great.
I'm just gonna get these and then just do that.
Yeah, you just jump around and skip the orb door, even though you have all the orbs necessary. It's a little bit quicker than speaking to the professor to get through that door. This is a fun level, Magma Cone. Sure love this level.
This was definitely one of my favorite levels as a kid, though, because of all the animations of the Earthshapers getting destroyed.
Yeah, that is
true.
satisfying.
But we can just fireball them, so...
Yep.
Funnily enough, on the PAL version of this game, the Earthshapers in this level don't die to fireballs, they just get pushed backwards. And so you still have to, like, push them onto the X's and watch the cutscenes if you want to kill them. Really weird difference. I guess I should have said that at some point. I'm playing on the North American version. PAL is very much still runnable in this game. It doesn't lose that much time, but it's just a bit slower in a few places. And has slower loading times as well for some reason.
So this is popcorn. This is one of the worst mini games in the game, in my opinion. I don't like this one. But yeah, you basically just get there's 2 phases or two challenges. The first one is have to collect 10 before Hunter collects 10, and he's moving pretty slowly. The second, you have to get 15 before he gets 15, and he's moving a lot faster. You shouldn't lose this challenge, but if you're new to running the game, it can be a bit tight sometimes. I know when I first ran this,
Hunter can absolutely
he can
round
go
2
beast
just
mode.
go on a tear. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it really is a movement test, like being able to like turn around and
Yeah, the movement
pivoting's
test,
really
you've got to
important.
be very, pivoting, you've got to be very aware of, I guess, the sounds, obviously letting you know where they are, being good with your camera, yeah, to be able to complete this challenge well. Again, it's a very definite difference between just being able to complete the challenge and getting the orb and being able to complete it very, very well.
Mm.
One of the things that obviously starts to separate top runners from people just behind them.
Just gonna clean up this sort of middle area, and then again the final area is a bit of an open area as well. So, I think were you gonna say something, Dad?
No.
No, it was me.
Oh, it was you. Sorry, I heard someone make a noise. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
Go
we
ahead
both
though
went
if
to
you've got
talk at the
anything to
same
say.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a quick break from fun posting in chat just to remind everyone why we're here fun posting in chat. We are Oz Speedruns, and we do speedrunning events to raise money for charity. For ASM 2021, we're raising money for Beyond Blue, a charity promoting good mental health through the raising awareness and reducing of the stigma around mental health issues. If you'd like to donate, the link to do so is donate.ozspeedruns.com, or you can click the link that was just posted in chat. I have a single donation here from Anonymous. I have $5 who says, $5 for George. Put it towards the world's hardest game. Thank you, Anonymous, for your $5. I am sure George the Snow Leopard appreciates it.
George will be fed for 1 day longer. He gets one more day of fish. So this is the final area of Magma Cone, and what he's done there is he's actually just completed the end of level talisman cutscene and that orb challenge basically at the same time, and that skips it skips the orb cutscene entirely, so you don't see the entire cutscene where you you speak to him and then collect the orb. It just gives it to you, and then it warps you to the talisman and you collect that one. So it's a little bit faster to collect both at the same time if you can do it, and then just cleaning up the rest of the gems in that area. So again, another challenge that's very, very easy with the permanent fireball, although you do need to, is it 2 enemies you need to kill to get enemies. the super fly power up? So
so this is going to be the last normal level that we do. There's not a speedway after this, so we're not quite done, but this is the last kind of normal level, and it's a weird one. It's one big escort mission. Have to hit these trees, knock down the berries that make Shorty into a big boy.
Yeah, and Shorty's the one who gives you the talisman at the end of the level as well. So this is not one you can skip to the end of the level to get the talisman. You do have to escort him all the way through. Otherwise, there's no way to get the talisman. A lot of the times it's like 2 different NPCs that at the start of the level and at the end of the level. But this is, I think, might be the only instance where it's the same NPC. So.
We also need 18 enemies here, which is quite a lot. It's most of them that you go past. Let's get this.
Yeah, I think you've got 1 or 2 leeway, maybe.
As long as you have 10 going into the tunnel, you're pretty much fine.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 18 exactly. No, that's 19 actually.
19.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you hit every enemy. But...
So talking to this guy spawned some thieves. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, just now that we're at the end of the level, we can start the mystery jar challenge as well. And then, as Zach mentioned, talking to that guy spawns the thieves and starts that challenge. So now we'll go back through and wrap up all of the orb challenges while collecting the final gems.
The lamps one is another one. Once you collect the 3rd one, it will warp you back to get the orb as well. So you collect the 3rd one sort of once you've completed all the areas you want to, and you want to spawn back up there. So
Weirdly enough, head bashing one of the guys here actually makes the rest of them spawn quicker. Like, you can shoot these with the fireball, but for some reason, if you head bash that second one, the next, like, 3 or 4 just spawn very, very quickly.
Yeah, and so we talked about, like what Dax says, he's got to kill all the enemies, and we mentioned it earlier. For whatever reason, you can't complete that challenge, even though we absolutely can because we have Fireball. You can't complete that challenge and get the orb unless you actually activate that power-up. Which
the
again
NPC
is
just won't
something,
let you.
yeah,
Just won't
which is
let you.
something I believe unique to this level.
No, the Hunter Challenge in Fracture is the same.
Right, yep. But yeah, it would be very annoying if it were the case all through the game, because there are so many challenges that it would become so much more frustrating to root enemies in.
Yeah, it's also why if you don't do Gulp Skip in like an old route or no major skips or whatever, you have to revisit this level and Fracture Hills because you need Head Bash to complete it. Alright, I didn't fail Gulp Skip at all, so I need to do the extra few gems. If I'd failed Gulp Skip at all, I could have got these earlier and saved a tiny bit of time there, but obviously it's not worth failing Gulp Skip on purpose.
Yeah. This will be 9,600, so there's 400 more gems in this level, and then 1 more orb, and that will be time.
Yeah, so time's not too far away, like 3 minutes or something. Yeah, I missed one of those guys. And that guy as well, that was bad.
This is a hard speedway. Particularly those fireballing those enemies, it's somewhat precise. Also these the green goober thingies in the water. A lot of the times if you fireball them and then go off screen, they just won't die. So you have to be a little bit careful in making sure your fireball actually gets them. It's a little bit finicky, but it's not too bad. This route's a little bit funky. Kind of doing things very out of order.
And then just one last Hunter Challenge and we'll have everything. It's a kind of anticlimactic ending because you just end on just getting an orb, but
yeah, a complete auto-scroller as well.
Yeah, so yeah, time in like 40 seconds or something, 30.
I do think one of the coolest things to do for a marathon, it'd be entirely way too risky to do in a marathon, but learning to do the challenge backwards.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Who was it that tried? Was it Silver?
Spudley, right? Or
maybe
Silver.
I thought Spudley, yeah.
Okay, I thought it might have been Silver and Nitroff that were together, and I think Nitroff was like, or Silver was, one of them was running and one of them was like holding one of the shoulder buttons, and it was just turning the camera, and he tried to complete it while the camera was turning the entire way. It was he didn't finish it. It was good. Anyway, time's coming up.
Yep. This screams blindfold incentive.
Yeah. And time.
GG, dude.
Thanks. What did I get?
140.
140.
Nice. Yeah, I thought that
really
was good.
good.
My PBs are 139, so.
There wasn't any big errors outside of maybe the beginning,
let's
the
play
missing
the
swim error.
credits.
Missing swim, a few small stuff, but yeah, in general, that was really, really good.
Really good, yeah.
Thanks. And yeah, you can manually play the credits with a cheat code, so I tend to do that at the end, just so there's an actual ending.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Spyro Chad just keep winning. It's been a good day for Spyro.
I was
Do you
like,
have any last
there was like
minute
a slight chance in my head that I got a PB with that, and I was going to be like, that was not going to count because I started from a cheat code.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
But no, thank you everyone. Spyro games are good speed games. You should learn them if you're interested. There's a Discord with a lot of resources and people to learn from, I guess. I don't remember the link off the top of my head, but someone can find it, I'm sure. And yeah, Insomniac block continues with a bunch of Ratchet and Clank stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of Ratchet stuff coming up, so yeah, stay tuned for that. Get your donations in. There's still incentives to be met. So yeah, keep watching.